Hello, my name is Voya and welcome to my deep guide. Well, I'm back in the usual setting. Before I begin, I just want to say a big thank you to all of the kindness and everything that you have actually expressed for my previous video. It really does mean a lot. So thank you. My heartfelt thanks to you all. Today, we are finally going to take a look at the Kindle Scribe, and this is going to be the in-depth review. If you do like the content that I bring to you on my deep guide, please consider liking and subscribing to the channel and ding the notification bell in the description below. An interaction on the comments and all of these things help bring the content up in the searches and the visibility of the channel overall. And if you want to help the channel out even further, you can check out the mydeepguide.com/shop, where you will find the My Daily Organizer, which is your yearly, weekly, quarterly, monthly, daily organizer for all your professional or personal organizing needs on the majority of e-ink devices. Will it work on Kindle Scribe? It's a complicated story which will be covered in the video. So without further ado, let's check out the Kindle Scribe. And here it is, the Amazon Kindle Scribe, finally on my deep guide. So by now you are probably very much familiar with what this device is. So just a very short summary for those who are not. This is an Amazon's first venture into a device where you can actually write on. So it is a Kindle, as the name suggests. So it has all the functionalities of a regular Kindle, but it is also a scribe. So it's a Kindle that you can write on. It sports a 10.2-inch screen, which actually has a resolution. It should be something around 2400 by 1800, but the whole point is that you get 300 ppi density on a 10.2-inch screen. That really differentiates this device from pretty much any other on the market at the moment. It comes in a variety of configurations. You can buy it in a 16, 32, and a 64 gigabyte variation, with the 32 and 64 gigs coming only with the premium pen, and the 16 gig can be with the standard pen. And also you can choose a bundle and choose between fabric and leather cover folios. All of those variations basically put the Kindle price range between $339 all the way up to $410 or $420, depending on which configuration you opt to go for. Kindle Scribe is a beautifully designed and manufactured tablet. You can see the attention to detail from the design itself to the actual execution of the design. We have a beautiful metal bucket that's seamless. It's not broken up by any unnecessary thing. You have beautifully rounded edges, which are very, very pleasant to the touch. And then this kind of manufacturing precision extends also onto the front side, and unlike the Tab Ultra, which had an issue which I was mentioning, this is an example of how this thing should be executed, and I might add, on a much cheaper device than the Tab Ultra, for example, almost half the price depending on which configuration you go for. On the front, we have a 10.2-inch screen. As I said, it is a flush screen, so no indents or indentations or anything like that, and there are no buttons here, which is something that some of the Kindle users probably won't be happy about, but that's the way it is. We have this wide edge here, and because the device is equipped with an accelerometer, you can actually flip it to use it on the right-hand side or the left-hand side, depending how you want. And the pen can also flip around and is held magnetically any way you want in the designated place. So the tip can point downwards if you want to hold the device like this, or the tip can easily point downwards if you want to hold it like this. Overall, it is a very nice device to kind of hold in the hand. However, at 430 something grams, it is a weighted device. Now, my problem is not the weight itself, but it's the distribution of the weight. And it really depends the orientation, how you're going to hold it. If you have the wider side on the right hand side, then the weight distribution is a little bit better better because it looks like it has maybe the battery, or I don't know, something is located a little bit more here, which results that if your wider side is on the left hand side, then this is a very, very top heavy device and you are going to feel it, and for a reader that's not going to be a comfortable thing to have. One other thing as well is that this is a relatively large device, despite it having like a 10.2 inch screen, which is a tiny bit smaller than a regular 10.3 inch screen. This edge on the side is huge. It's really, really wide. So the overall footprint of this device is relatively large, which for a dedicated reader is maybe not the thing that people are looking for, but yeah, that's definitely something to keep in mind. Just one more thing that I would like to point out as attention to details. Books could definitely learn from this, and it is the anti-skid rubber feet like we have on the Remarkable. They are there for a reason. It doesn't move anywhere. You have to push really hard to kind of move it, but when you're writing and working with the device, it's perfectly level. There's no bends whatsoever. It's lovely and straight from any angle that you look at it, and it's just a properly executed and designed device. Now the layout, nothing on the back except the anti-skid rubber feet, nothing on the top, nothing on the side, nothing on the other side. Everything that you have is located on the wider side of the device, and all you got is basically the USB-C and the power button. That's it. No speakers, microphone, or anything like that. Fairly basic. Overall, I think that this is a beautiful device and an example of how to design a device for a modern era for a reader and a note taker, and it has been executed beautifully, especially for the price range. This device feels and looks like a much more pricier device than it actually is. So from the design and build quality standpoint, you're definitely getting your bang for the buck. Now the screen of the Amazon Kindle Scribe, well, that is the party piece and the selling point of the Kindle Scribe. It's a 10.2 inch 300 ppi monochromatic screen that has picture quality other devices can at the moment only aspire to. It has ghosting clarity rivaling the one of the Tab Ultra, and the performance for just reading that is simply astonishing. It's really responsive. No matter what you do, it refreshes really nicely, and it's always clean, clear, crisp, and easy to read. And basically, I hate to use the term, but the image pops at the user, and that's what you actually want in a device like this. Reading any kind of content is lovely on the Kindle Scribe, but where it truly shines is actually when photographs or graphics are involved. This makes the Kindle Scribe an ideal machine for those who enjoy graphic novels or other graphic-rich reading content of any kind, really, because it's truly gorgeous. The screen is coated with an exceptionally well-balanced and made screen protective writing surface. It has a fantastic paper-like feel when writing and scratching, offering a wonderful tactile and audio feel when using it, especially, of course, when writing. But it's not too rough, so that means that the nibs should not wear out quickly or too quickly while writing on it. So I think that they made a really good balance here, and it also offers clarity of the image. So I can only imagine that a lot of effort and work and trial and error went into this coating, and I think that it paid off because it really does make the Kindle Scribe stand out from the crowd, and it participates into the overall impression of the device to a large degree, I believe. The screen surface also offers exceptionally good reflection dimming and diffusion performance, further increasing the enjoyability of reading and writing on the Kindle Scribe under majority of circumstances. To complete the package, Kindle Scribe comes with a very good dual front light. You can see these are very dark conditions since it's December, and this is with the front light turned off. The front light can easily be adjusted, and it has 24 levels. So let's say this is the mid point and this is the maximum. So quite a wide range of the front light itself. Now the uniformity is really nice. I'm just going to lower it a little bit so that you can see it on the camera nicely. But as you can probably see here, there's no bleed anywhere. There's no inconsistencies. There's no, you know, kind of shiny edges or dark spots or anything like that. It's very uniform. And that's something that we do expect from a Kindle device, and Kindle Scribe most definitely delivers. Additionally, you also have the warmth control, so you can have it cold or all the way to warm. And again, that uniformity just works really well. Here, I believe the camera, yeah, it looks like the camera is getting confused, so you will see some inconsistencies, but in reality, you don't really see that. That's just the camera being a little bit confused with the intensity. So maybe if I lower the intensity a bit more, so that the shutter, there we go. So that's basically consistently what you will see, regardless of what intensity you use the front light at. I like that you have also the auto brightness option, which basically, and you can have the schedule for the warm light or cold light, and it's just a really nice experience overall, and something that completes the overall reading and writing package and experience on the Kindle Scribe. The front light is very well balanced, very uniform and pleasant on the eyes, and it's mild. Basically, it complements the screen just perfectly to accentuate the contents, and you can easily adjust it to any situation, which is basically what it's supposed to do. Scribe comes with the standard or a premium pen. Both are very similar, but the premium pen has an eraser at the end and a side button that has a customizable functionality in the system. I have the set, which is a 32 gigabyte variant, and it comes with a premium pen, and I have to say that this is one of the most comfortable and well-made pens that I have used on an eNote device. The build quality and the materials are excellent. I don't know exactly what type of plastic or what are they using, but it's super comfortable to use, and it basically just stays in your hand in a good way. The button itself is made out of a slightly different plastic. As you can see, it's shiny, so your fingertips can easily ascertain the difference between where's the button, and you don't have to kind of guess or anything like that. And on top of that, you have a nice tactile feel when you press on it. The eraser cap is, as you can see, normal, and it feels sturdy, not like something that's going to fall off after a little bit of use. Pleasant to the touch, the pen really feels like a quality product and acts like a quality product. The balance is just right, and writing with the premium pen is basically effortless, even on longer sessions when I was testing out the battery performance. When I was writing basically for 2 hours straight, my hand did not get tired, and basically it was a very enjoyable experience overall. The nibs are of a regular standard, so you shouldn't have any issues to find replacements, and basically you can use, if you wanted to, like Remarkable or Books nibs or something like that on this pen. However, I wouldn't put a different brand of a nib in here, simply because the nibs are really good, and this overall combination works really well. The magnet is nice and strong, so I don't think that it can lift the device simply because this is a very heavy device. Nope, it definitely cannot. But I love the design, and because of this indentation, the bend that actually follows the bend of the device, the pen is able to sit very nicely alongside the edge of the device itself, sort of like it does on the Remarkable, so that's a good thing to see. I need to spend a little bit more time with the Scribe Premium pen, but it may indeed become my new favorite and go-to pen on any device, not just on the Scribe. It really is excellent. As far as reading capabilities and experience goes, this is primarily a Kindle. It's called Kindle Scribe, so therefore you can expect all of the things that any other Kindle will bring to you, but with a 10.2-inch screen and the addition of sticky notes. More on that a little bit later. So what does that mean? Well, that means that, as I've talked before, it's offering a lovely image quality and the device responsiveness is really, really excellent. The navigation and all of the formatting options and all of these things are pretty much standard as you would see them on any other Kindle. So you can simply tap on the top and you can change your formatting options, everything that you're used to. It's a Kindle, it works like a Kindle, it behaves like a Kindle. And as I mentioned, while the size of the screen is really, really nice and it gives a lovely reading experience and comfort level, the device, for my taste at least, is a bit too big and a bit too heavy to handle with ease, especially if you have that heavy part being top heavy. If you flip it up like this, it's a bit easier to use. But overall, it's definitely not as easy to handle as a regular Kindle. No matter what you do, one of the corners is going to be heavy and it's going to tug at your hand. So it's a larger device and it's a heavier device than any other Kindle. I think so, at least. So that's something to definitely keep in mind. It will get in the way from time to time when reading. Now let's get on to the sticky notes. So what are the sticky notes? Well, you can see that on the side here we have a toolbar now in a Kindle book. Now the first icon is a touch icon, which means that your pen is going to act like a touch input. So it's exactly the same. So basically you can just navigate your books with the pen. Underneath it we have a sticky option, and here we have just an option to move this to the right side or to the left hand side. There's no option to hide it or something like that. You can just expand or collapse it. Now the sticky note itself, this is Amazon's attempt to add the capability of adding written content onto the DRM protected books. So the main problem here is that you have purchased this book, but you are not allowed legally to modify it. And if you were to start writing on top of it, you would effectively start modifying it. So that's one of the problems that we got here. So what they tried is to introduce a sticky note, which is like this. You go to a sticky note and then you tap when or where you want to place the sticky note. Now, you gotta choose this place really, really carefully because you will not be able to move it again. So once you place it, that's it. You can only delete it and then create a new sticky note instead of it to place it to a different place. So choose wisely. So let's say we tap here. It's going to open up here. And now we have a toolbar that's basically the same toolbar that you will see that we have in the notebook itself. Now you can type the text and you can combine. So I can have typed notes, okay, and then notes. By the way, the responsiveness, as you can see, of the keyboard is absolutely phenomenal, and of the screen itself, it's really, really nice. And then I can just go to handwritten note. Unfortunately, I can't move this. I can't interact with this in any other way. It's just in the way, and that's how it is. You have more options. You can move this to the bottom, and then you can kind of see a little bit better. So it depends where you want to kind of keep it, but that's pretty much it. And now I can, so let's see, we have a text note, and this would be my handwritten note, or scribbled, for lack of a better word. And you have your eraser and you have a highlighter as well in this option, and undo, redo. So that's basically all of the tools that you will have. So now that that's done, okay, so we can close, and that's done. So where's my sticky note? Well, if you remember, when I clicked with the pen, I clicked very precisely here at the end of the word again, right? But my sticky note is not there. This tiny little thing here, let's move it closer to the camera. This tiny little thing here, that's an icon and that's an indication of my sticky note. And even though I tapped precisely there, it's now placed over here, and I can do diddly squat with it because I can only tap on it to open it, but I can't really press and hold. It's gonna open. Can I? Nope, can't do anything with it. I can delete it, or I can look at all notes, but that's it. That's the sticky note. So that's their solution to all of this. I don't think that this is the best solution, and here's why. I don't mind the concept of a sticky note. I really do, but I really do mind the rigidity of how this has been implemented. Once you place it in a book, it's not possible to reposition the sticky note, and also the sticky note will not synchronize to non-scribe devices. For example, on my Kindle Paperwhite, I could not get this to kind of show up. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm doing something wrong, maybe my Paperwhite didn't synchronize correctly, but I just simply couldn't get any of these sticky notes to kind of show up. And as you've seen, even if you do try to position them correctly and precisely, they're going to end up somewhere randomly on the screen, and without being able to move them, that's just really bad. All right, so that's how handwriting works in DRM protected books, such as the Kindle books. So that's not the best, definitely. What about imported documents? Well, you can import documents in different ways, and more on that a little bit later. But let's take a look at the properly, officially imported version of the remarkable MDO, My Daily Organizer, onto the Kindle Scribe. Well, this one seemingly works good and it works fine, so I can just go where I need to go. Some colors are off. We don't have any grayscale capabilities, but we can see that we have this toolbar that we've talked about before, and now we can actually use our pen in a touch mode. We can use our pen to actually navigate around and trigger hyperlinks, and here I can choose my pen thickness, that's all you got, and I can take my notes normally. Okay, so I don't know, let's go to here and then maybe daily notes, and here I can write some more. All right, so seemingly you are able to actually kind of write like this and do these things, and that would be all fine, right? Well, things get to be a little bit more complicated and not that good as far as Kindle Scribe goes when we talk about its capability of writing on PDF files. And here I have a problem with Amazon's marketing language campaign and what they say is possible to do and what they say is not possible to do. So let's cover some things here. So first thing to understand is that you have multiple ways of importing your documents into the Kindle device. So you have the option of drag and dropping your documents on the amazon.com/send to Kindle. You can send the documents from the free Kindle app on an iOS or an Android device. You can also download and install Send to Kindle desktop application to Windows or a Mac computer and upload it that way. And the fourth way is to email the attachment directly to your device, because as Kindle users know, each Kindle has their own unique email address that you can send an attachment to, and then after a few minutes it appears. And that's all that the user manual will tell you that you can do. However, there is a fifth way as well, and that's a direct USB connection to the device. So if you hook up your Kindle to a computer directly, it will go into its drive mode, and it will appear like a normal drive on your computer where you can drag and drop a PDF document, and that's that. Seemingly, it doesn't matter, right? How you do these things. It's all supposed to be the same because that's how it works literally on every other device and platform out on the market. That's how things work. Well, not on the Kindle. Because you see, these 4 methods don't import your document onto the Kindle. What they do is you upload your document somewhere on one of Amazon's servers, and their servers perform a conversion of that document into an KFX file, which is then uploaded onto your device. So if you are using one of these 4 methods, you will not be having your PDF file, for example. You will have a conversion of the document sent to your Kindle device. Well, here we have the bias. It's like, well, for books, if something goes onto a Chinese server, it's like everybody has pitchforks and torches and everything. But if something goes onto an Amazon device, well, who cares? Well, I do care because it's my data. So right out of the bat, I would not be able to use this device for any kind of professional setting, because these documents are anything that you import goes through an external server. You have no control over it. So that is automatically a big negative point. Now, some of you will say, well, why are you making a big deal out of this? You got your USB here, so that's not a problem, is it? Well, here's where it becomes weird. If you do import the document via the USB, you will indeed have your PDF file. So I have my library here, and I have MDO converted and MDO. Now the MDO folder or library or whatever collection they're calling it, these are the files that were directly imported into the device via the USB cable. MDO converted are the ones that have been uploaded via email, the other one via the desktop app. Doesn't have any difference, that's just how they work. Here's the big difference. Let's open up first the converted version of, let's say, a book's version of the MDO. We open it up, seemingly it looks normal, and we have our writing option. So I can write, that's fine. The gray colors are gone, but the biggest problem is the hyperlinks, for example, are completely seemingly broken. Now, I know what has happened here, and I'll talk about that a little bit later, but effectively, this is a broken document. So naturally, everybody would assume, well, your PDF file is not compatible with this device. Not true. Because if I go into MDO, and here is the books, same, 2003, first of all, you'll see the grayscale is different. The formatting is more correct. And lo and behold, all of the hyperlinks are functioning perfectly, as you would expect them to work on this device. And you can see that the performance is brilliant. So yeah, what's the problem then? Well, anybody spot the difference or the glaring problem that we have with the PDF file? Well, yeah, the hyperlinks are working. Where's my toolbar? Where's the writing capability on a PDF file that is advertised on the box? Where's the writing capability on a PDF file, not the KFX file, on the PDF file? Where is that capability on the Kindle Scribe? I'll tell you where. They forgot about it. They completely forgot about actually adding this, which is insane. This is completely ridiculous. So this has to be one of the biggest omissions in implementation that I have ever seen. And we have completely different functionalities here, because if I go to formatting, I have contrast functionalities here, so you can actually add a little bit more contrast. And as you can see, the picture quality is absolutely fantastic, and the performance of the device on the MDO, which is a really heavy document, it's like 1700 pages. It's super snappy. It's capable of doing these things on a PDF directly, but it's the Kindle Scribe is not doing, it's not capable of doing what it is advertised that it can do, which is write directly on your PDF files. This is a PDF file that I've placed into the Kindle via the USB-C, not a converted file, and it's not working. So what's the problem? Well, the problem is that the conversion is not working properly. Because as you've seen, the same document that just works normally as a PDF file, when you import that same PDF file and it's been converted to a KFX file so that you can do writing, all the hyperlinks are completely broken. And I know exactly what it's doing. It's doing some kind of scaling. As you can see, the outlines here are not the same, and I don't have formatting capabilities here to fix that in any way that I can, because you don't have options to adjust this in any way. And what it's doing is it's scaling and adjusting only the content level of the PDF, and it's ignoring all of the link boxes. So the link boxes are offset, and if I tap somewhere around here, because this probably scaled it down, I should hit the January box somewhere around here. There we go, January 6th. So that's just so sloppy that it's really, really unbelievable what they've allowed to actually be released and what they advertise, because I don't mind the problem of the conversion not working properly. I don't mind it that much. But what I do mind is when you have a specifically advertised option all over the place that you can annotate your PDF files, and in fact you can't do that because it doesn't have that option. So that is a clear example of false advertising or misleading advertising at the very least, because what you import is no longer a PDF file, it's a KFX file, and it's not correct what Amazon is actually saying that the Kindle Scribe is capable of doing. Now, another issue with the conversion is that it's inconsistent and incorrect, as you've seen, of the PDF documents, rendering the reliability of using the Scribe for PDFs into basically a gamble. It might work, or it might not work. When it works great. I mean, the performance is better than a PDF file. Obviously, it does a lot of optimizations and things like that, so an image quality is great, so it's doing things properly. But when it doesn't work in a spectacular way and basically breaks the document completely, which unfortunately is the case with the MDO. So this is not going to be a problem on very simple documents, like you get a contract and you sign it, or you review something and you do like everybody does on the commercials, like circle something and write the exclamation point. Okay, fine. For that, I believe that it will work and you will have very little problems running into issues like that. But if you want something more complex and something more complete, then it is a gamble, and you can't be certain if the importing process is going to break the document or not. So that in itself, that unreliability and inconsistency, and the inconsistency is also an issue because every time I import the document, certain things work in a different way. So for example, here, this is the remarkable right-hand version. This is the updated version 3, which kind of works, but not completely. So it's the most complete version of the MDO that will function and you can kind of use on the Scribe, but it doesn't work fully. So let's switch to a touch so that you can see exactly what I'm doing. So for example, if I go to August, it works, right? So I can go back to a year, I can choose the correct date and it goes to the correct date. Now, in some of the cases, previous imports of the same exact document, if I were to tap on March 28th, I would get consistently March 29th, right? But in this one, it works. So, and on the previous one, if I would tap on 28, I would get the 27. So I'm assuming that it's not able to resize the link boxes and then they are maybe overlapping or something like that, but it's inconsistency. I have the exact same document imported 3 times onto the same device and I get 3 different types of performances, all of them weird. So I was just lucky. This was a gamble and this time this one works, but maybe one of these won't work like it didn't work on the previous one. One thing that consistently doesn't work is basically when you go to a daily one. So if I go to small notes, weekly notes, that works fine, right? Let's just get to a day. And that one didn't work. There we go. That most definitely didn't work. Okay, but if I try to go to a week from any day, I will always go to the month. And that's a consistently broken type of behavior. It's not a big deal, but it's not working as it should. So that conversion most definitely is a problem. But if there's a question, can you use MDO on Amazon Kindle Scribe at the moment? Kind of, yes, you can use, if you really want to at the moment, the Remarkable version and the right-hand version basically, or the left-hand version. Remarkable, basically the spacing fits the toolbar perfectly. So that's kind of good thing. So if you have a left-hand version, then you move this to the left and then it's good. So it works. And the majority of links work kind of reliably, but there are going to be instances and some links that won't work, and I can't tell you exactly which ones because I can't know, because that conversion is unreliable and it really is a gamble. So it depends what's it going to get right or wrong when you import it onto your device. What I can tell you with a fairly certain guarantee is that the Supernote and the books versions do not work currently when imported on the Kindle Scribe, unfortunately. Hopefully that's something that they might want to address and fix. I will be working and trying to figure out to create a dedicated version that is able to convert reliably with these things. But at this point, I don't know if Kindle Scribe is actually capable of doing that reliably or not. Because as you've seen, the same exact document, it's not the document problem, it's the conversion problem. Because if I go to a regular MDO, I can open any version and all of them will work just fine as you would expect them to, and everything will be as you would want it to be. So yeah, that's the situation with the importing and the document functionalities and all of that as far as the Kindle Scribe goes. So the idea that you have a reader device that will not allow you to write on your raw documents, on your PDFs, even though it advertises specifically that you can do that, but instead it requires that your documents are sent to a server somewhere, converted unreliably and inconsistently to a different format without anyone telling you that, and then sent to your device. That's not an appealing idea for me. That's not an appealing concept for me, especially when it's not specifically said that that's what's actually happening. Why wouldn't we be able to write directly on a PDF file? This is beyond limiting. This is incomplete functionality of a device, and this device is not doing what it is advertised that it can do. They say specifically you can write on PDF files. I cannot. You don't have the writing tools to write on a PDF file. That's a big problem. Now, what can you do with the highlights and annotations and all the things that you do, let's say, in a Kindle book with your sticky notes? Well, exporting the annotations and highlights is effortless, and basically it works well. You just need to go to the menu here and this part there, that icon there, and you will have an overview of your annotations and highlights as a list here. All you need to do then is hit the export button, and it will send this whole thing as a PDF attachment to the designated email address, and you will get it in a couple of minutes. All good and dandy, right? Well, here as well we encounter the basically Spartan level of the sparsity of options, because you can only export all of it. There's no option of choosing which part do I want to export or not, or at least I can't find any, because there's no options here that I can do any of these things. And basically, yeah, you can choose what you want to export. While this will be fine for smaller documents or books and things like that, if we're talking about a study book, and you're doing highlights and annotations and things like that, let's say that it's a dense study book, 400 or 500 pages, you might end up with a giant PDF file of highlights and notes, which will be difficult to navigate, and maybe the size can actually grow that it even exceeds the email attachment size. So again, we have severe limitations here from the software side of things, unfortunately. The wonderful image quality, the responsiveness of the device, and the larger screen bring truly an enjoyable reading experience. They really do, but reading only. As soon as you start treating the Scribe as a device to annotate your documents or use it for anything, even remotely demanding, the severe lack of functionality and thought behind the software side of things simply leads to a series of dead ends, which is very, very frustrating. Now let's get on to the writing side of things on the Kindle Scribe, so the Scribe side of things. Well, without beating around the bush, it has excellent writing feel and sound thanks to this really, really good surface on the top. Excellent reflectivity, which doesn't distract you when you're actually writing, and the excellent pen, which I already covered. They all basically contribute to a really, really fantastic writing experience on the Kindle Scribe. The screen distance is a little bit high at 1.1 millimeter, so it's a bit more than usual, but the calibration of the pen is such that when you're normally writing, you can't really see or feel that distance in normal use. So it's not something that you are going to find as a problem. Now, some of you may have noticed that the writing performance or the writing latency on the Scribe is really, really good. And let me tell you just how good it is. When I started writing for the first time on the Kindle Scribe, I was actually blown away by multitudes of things: the surface, the reflectivity, the comfort level, the pen itself, but most of all was the instantaneous, near instantaneous writing latency. And most of you will remember that merely not even a full month ago, we've had Tab Ultra, which crushed the remarkable 2 record with writing latency at 19.54 milliseconds, which was basically the first device, e-ink device that we've had that crushed that 20 millisecond barrier. And then this one came along with its 300 ppi screen, which theoretically should actually make it slower because it has to draw more pixels than the Tab Ultra at 227 ppi. But even so, the Kindle Scribe, when I did the D.E.S.T.A test, I had to redo it and redo it again, same as I did with the Tab Ultra, just to verify the results, because Kindle Scribe's writing latency measures at 18.36 milliseconds, which is more than 1 millisecond faster than the Tab Ultra and over 5 milliseconds faster than the Remarkable 2. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have yet another disruption at the chart of the fastest devices as far as the writing latency goes and the D.E.S.T.A measurements. So now the new current top leader is the Amazon Scribe, followed closely by the Tab Ultra, and the long reigning champion, Remarkable 2, is now down onto the 3rd place. And then They couple what is probably the best writing experience on the market currently, the fastest writing latency on the market definitely currently, with the most limited and least functional note-taking functionality on the market bar none. There is literally almost nothing to even talk about regarding the notebook side of things. Here's what you get. This is it. You get one brush with 5 levels of thickness. You get a highlighter with also 5 levels of thickness. You get an eraser that has 5 levels of thickness. You can erase a selection or you can erase a whole page. And the pen can be used as a touch input. Have undo, redo, and move the toolbar to the left or to the right. You can't move the toolbar, reposition it anywhere. You can collapse it or expand it. And that's it. That's the entirety of what you have at your disposal as far as the notebook experience goes. Now, what can you do with the notebook itself in the options? Well, you can rename your notebook and you can change what's going to be shown as a cover. And you can choose between 18 preloaded templates if you count blank as a template. So you have 17 templates and they're great, but that's it. You can't load your own custom template or anything like that. And what else? Well, you can tap on the numbers here to show or hide them, and that's that. That's it. That's all. That's everything you have on a notebook. So there are no layers, there's no custom templates, there are no different brushes, there are no brush presets, there's no shapes, there's no handwriting conversion. You don't even get a selection tool to copy, paste, or edit sections of your writing. You can't even do basic page management in a notebook, such as inserting, deleting, or moving a page within a notebook, or maybe copying a page from one notebook to another. For crying out loud, you can't even navigate within a notebook other than manually flipping pages to get where you want to. I mean, come on. You can't even organize your notebooks into subfolders. You can create a folder, yes, in the root you can create a folder. Once you go into a folder, you're bizarrely not allowed to create another folder, which is completely ridiculous. So you only get a one-level folder structure. That's actually borderline insulting. And all of this is beyond limited and beyond ridiculous. This is what we would call in the developer world a proof of concept, and a very early one at that, not a release version of functionality of a notebook. And yet, even with such limitations, I genuinely, thoroughly enjoyed writing on the Scribe, and I do want to write on it more and use it more. But here as well, the severe limitations of the software are literally gagging and drowning what in reality is probably the best writing experience on the market currently. That's infuriating. I know that everybody expects that the updates will improve these things over time, but I would advise caution and remind you of two examples. Number one, look at how long it takes and what kind of updates and new features other Kindle devices have gotten in the past. And number two, look at the Kobo Ellipsa, where it is now, basically a year since it has been released on the market. People had the same expectations there as well, but were met with a very sour disappointment because none of these things have been improved or upgraded, only bug fixes, and that was it. So I'm afraid that we might be looking at the same scenario here as well. That can very, very easily happen with the Scribe. The battery life, first of all, I don't know what the capacity is because the overall specifications, what's actually inside of the Kindle Scribe, is basically shrouded in secrecy, and it's quite difficult, at least for me, to find out precise information. However, since it weighs at around 430 grams, I would venture a guess that the battery on the Kindle Scribe is around 3000-ish milliamps or something like that. Now, the battery life I test out exactly the same on every single device that I review on my deep guide, and that gives me a consistency and a good point of comparison between different devices and what you can actually expect with the battery life. Now, traditionally, Kindle devices have an outstanding battery life, and that is what I expected to see from the Kindle Scribe, and it most certainly did not disappoint. Now, the reading performance first. Normally, what I do is I manually tap every 20 seconds and flip a page at different front light settings. So normally I start at front light at 50%, then at 20 or 25%, and then front light off and make the comparison. However, this time it was unnecessary to actually do that because after 1 hour of flipping pages every 20 seconds with the front light at 20%, the Kindle Scribe spent less or around 1% of battery life, which means that for all intents and purposes, that 50% of front light reading will give you 100 hours or more. And at that point, if you lower the front light, you're going to get well over 100 hours, and there's no point in actually me doing this for 3 hours. So reading battery performance, absolutely outstanding. Then we went on to the writing performance of the Kindle Scribe, and this is a very similar one as well. I write for 1 hour with one front light setting. In this case, that was at 25%, and then 1 hour without the front light at all. And as expected, the result was actually the same, because that's what normally happens when you do something like this with these devices, because writing itself is very processor intensive, and then the front light is actually a secondary consumer of the energy on a device. So the result was, after 1 hour of continuous writing, and when I say continuous, I mean 1 hour of constantly writing on the device itself, at 25%, and when the front light was off, the Kindle Scribe was spending at around 6% of battery per hour, which amounts to roughly around 16.67 hours of consistent writing per charge. And in my book, as I said previously, anything over 10 hours is an excellent battery life, and this one is well over 10 hours at 16.67, so excellent battery life there as well for the Kindle Scribe. So overall, as expected, Kindle Scribe delivers the outstanding battery life that we have come to rely upon on Kindle devices. As far as other options go, well, you have the web browser, and you can just go to the web browser, and it's slow. It most definitely is really slow, and yeah, it takes a while to do anything, and you can zoom. Let's go a bit down, but as you can see, this is not really something that I would call terribly functional. I mean, you can use it, but it's really slow and old. So yeah, you can browse the internet on the Kindle. You can basically read the news and some articles, which is an okay thing to see, but at the brink of 2023, this feels a lot out of touch. Audible works nicely with an attached Bluetooth device, which you can, enable here, disable, and do whatever you want with it. And it works as you would expect it to, so no problems there at all. It's possible to put the device actually in standby mode. It will continue to play, and more importantly, it will continue to respond to the Bluetooth's remote controls like play, pause, volume control, and things like that, even when it is in standby mode. So that's a very nice thing to see. But unfortunately, it's not possible to minimize Audible and do anything else on the device while it's playing. For example, I might want to doodle or write some of the things down while listening to an Audible book, but unfortunately, that's not something that you can do. Another nice system-wide thing that you can use is the dark mode, and it actually works quite well. It will invert the colors in these, let's say in comic books and things like that. Maybe that's something that you want, or maybe you don't want it, but that's how it actually works. But it actually gives a very good performance and a very good uniformity of the image itself. More importantly, you can write easily in this mode. So overall, it works rather well, although because how our eyes perceive contrast and because of persistency of vision, be prepared to observe a somewhat slower responsiveness of the device. This is for the largest part basically just an optical illusion, because you have thin bright content on a very large dark surface, and our eyes simply work in a very different way. So we are going to observe things that you normally will ignore if it's an inverted color scheme. But there's also a very small performance hit when using the dark mode. Not something that the biggest part is the optical illusion, but it's definitely something to be aware of and keep in mind. A nice thing to see that on the Scribe is that there are no ads, forced ads. Oh, how low have we sunken to actually view that as a positive, but hey ho, that's the Kindle platform for you. But you can't escape the suggestions that take the majority, basically 2/3 of your home screen is something that's forced upon you and you have no control over it. Don't think for a second that you will be free to customize your own device that you purchased to your own liking. No, 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 no. Amazon will tell you what you will have to look at on your device day in, day out. You are not in control here. All right, and now it's the conclusion time for the Kindle Scribe. And as usual, let's start with the cons. Well, the first con for me absolutely has to be the ludicrously limited notebook functionality at a level that can only be described as proof of concept, and an early one, and definitely not a finished release candidate. While we're at notebooks, another con would be the only single level folder structure allowed for whatever reason, who knows, but you are artificially limited to have only one folder in a root, and you cannot build nested folder structures to organize your notes. Okay. Inability to write in native PDF format, not in the converted one, but in the actual PDF document. We don't have the ability to actually write in them. Did they forget to implement that part, or whatever happened there? I don't know, but it's clearly advertised everywhere, but that's something that simply is not there on the Kindle Scribe. Kindle Scribe can't do what it advertises it can do. Forced conversion of imported documents that is inconsistent and unreliable. On the one hand, this is the only way that you can actually import your PDF documents to write on the Kindle Scribe. On another, it's a gamble if the converted document you end up with on your device will work properly or not. Will it work the same every single time? And what you get on your device, how will it work? Will it work? Etc., etc. Definitely a huge con. Very rigid implementation of the sticky notes for the Kindle books. It's not possible to adjust their position, and when you do place them, they are not placed exactly where you wanted to place them. Also, the indication, the icon for the sticky notes is quite small and makes it in quite a lot of situations very difficult to actually find and see. No way of minimizing Audible and listening to it in the background while doing another action, for example, writing, sketching, or doodling, or whatever it may be. Nope, you can't do that on the Scribe. And a constant reminder that even though you purchase this device, Amazon doesn't let you forget that this is their device and they won't let you customize it in any way, shape, or form. Sure, you don't have ads, but 2/3 of your home screen are permanently locked into suggestions, so you're constantly force-fed basically suggestions on buy, more. Now onto the pros of the Amazon Scribe. Well, first of all, it has to be that fantastic screen. Image quality, clarity, performance. It's probably the best monochromatic 10-inch or 10-ish inch screen on the market today. Excellent screen reflectivity as well, built into the device. You don't need a custom screen protector or anything like that. Really helps the overall reading and writing performance. Fantastic writing experience overall. Probably one of the best ones, if not the best one, on the market, e-ink market today. And the fastest writing latency as well on the e-ink market currently today, beating even the almighty Tab Ultra. Kindle Scribe offers overall a very nice reading experience, maybe not the most comfortable one because of the bulky size and weight, but the actual quality that you get, especially on graphic novels and graphic rich content, more than justifies the somewhat bulkiness in some situations where it's not the most comfortable device to use as a reader. Exceptionally good battery life. It is of a beautiful design and build quality. Despite the price, it feels and looks like a much pricier device and much better than devices that cost nearly twice as much. And I'm going to reference Tab Ultra again here because Kindle Scribe feels and looks like a more premium device at $339 than the Tab Ultra at its $600. The premium pen is really an excellent, an outstanding pen, and maybe I need to give it a bit more time, but it's quickly growing to be probably one of my favorite ones and maybe one that I would consider one of the best ones on the market today. Overall device performance is very responsive, it's quick, snappy, and responsive to the gestures, is precise and reliable. Audible works in standby mode, and a particularly good surprise is also that it reacts to your Bluetooth headphone commands even while in standby mode. And final pro has to be the price, because if you don't want all of the bells and whistles, you can actually get this for $339 with the basic pen, and then you get a heck of a lot for that price. And now for the summary and the final conclusion around the Kindle Scribe. Well, Kindle Scribe is a very difficult device to summarize. On the one hand, we have a device that is wonderfully designed and built, that offers one of the, or if not the, best reading and writing experience on the e-ink market on the world today, at an exceptionally competitive price. From that sentence alone, it should be a complete no-brainer to recommend this device. But unfortunately, all of that brilliant hardware work and implementation has been completely crippled, literally crippled, by one of the lamest excuse of a software implementation that I have seen in a very long time. It is simply shameful the kind of disservice the software side of the Kindle Scribe is doing to the actual device, which has an incredible amount of potential. There is absolutely no question in my mind at all that Kindle Scribe can very easily be one of the best, if not the best, e-note device on the market today. But it's not. It's actually far from it. As it is today, it is one of the most limited and least functional devices on the market, and is being literally held hostage by terrible software development and implementation. Whether or not Kindle Scribe will be liberated by someone actually utilizing the amazing potential that this brilliant hardware design has, it remains to be seen. But having in mind that it's actually the giant Amazon who is behind it, I honestly wouldn't hold my breath, as history has shown that they are, let's put it this way, exceptionally deaf to the pleas and requests of their user base, and they are very slow in bringing up updates and especially new functionalities to their devices. In short, Kindle Scribe is the biggest missed opportunity that I have seen in a very long time. And that genuinely makes me sad, especially knowing what this device is already now capable of. So close, yet so far. Now on to the question, should you actually buy this or not? Well, here's the thing. It's a 10-inch Kindle that you can do some scribbles on. If that's what you're looking for, then you are probably not going to be disappointed, but you have to keep in mind that I think it's not waterproof and it doesn't have buttons, because Kindle users are going to look for that as a priority. If you are considering Kindle as an alternative to Remarkable 2, Supernote, Books devices, or MatePad Paper, or even Kobo Ellipsa, then that's a far more complicated issue, because on the one hand, it has the most brilliant writing experience of any of these devices. It's just absolutely awesome how good it is to write on this device. But on another hand, the level of limitations is infuriating, because you can't do anything with it. You can just write and that's it. Like, even the most basic of the basic things are not in place. So what you can do is you can take a gamble and then see, maybe, hopefully they will update at some point or not. Or you could actually wait until first updates start rolling out and we get an actual sense of what the Kindle Scribe team has in mind for this device. Because if we don't see, let's say in January, an update that allows the notebook to have navigation, and if we don't see very shortly an option of adding, inserting pages, subfolders, if we don't see the actual functionality that you can write on a PDF as it has been advertised, and all of these things, if we don't see that in the first 3 months of this device, then that is a very strong indication that not much is going to happen. If we don't see that in the very first 6 months, then it's all but a guarantee that Kindle Scribe is going to unfortunately remain a hostage to whatever their vision is for the software development of this device. For me personally, I purchased this device because I wanted to test it out and see it. I find it to be exceptionally frustrating because of the reasons as I said, because it takes this little for Kindle Scribe to be one of the best, if not the best, note-taking devices on the market. But as it is now, it's one that's exceptionally hard to recommend because of the limitations. So yeah, there you go. Alright, that's it from me. I hope that you liked the video and that you found it informative and enjoyable. If you did, please like and subscribe and ding the notification bell in the description below, and check out the mydeepguide.com/shop for the My Daily Organizer and the bundles and all sorts of things like that. In the comments down below, please leave your impressions and your thoughts about the Kindle Scribe and things like that. I will be doing a vast comparison between different devices so that we can actually do that, because the year is coming to an end. However, I am very pressed for time and I am trying to kind of find these things out. So we'll see if that major comparison video is going to come out in December or maybe early January, but surely somewhere around this time. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy, and see you in the next video. Bye!